What happened? You know? What happened?
Can you tie that?
How? Just tie it like
Yeah. This? You know, like under, make it tie. Just tie it.
Like that?
Yes.
Okay. And then what?
Tie it again.
There, the bow. Oh. Tighter?
That's good.
Does it feel loose?
Minnie Mouse.
Do you want me to tuck it? Okay.
I was just kidding. The bow was nice, really.
Mom!
It was.
So then why were you trying to clown it?
Just, you know.
Because I made it cute without you telling me.
Yes, exactly.
And trying to throw shade on it.
Seeing those African costumes you guys wore, it's so beautiful.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
That's good. See that? There we go. See,
okay.
That's cute. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. I gotta get to it.
Hey, Mina.
Hey, Mom.
Is it Hey, Amineh?
Hey, Amineh.
Hey, Amineh.
Yeah. Remember the All That show, and it had the Amanda Bynes show, and she would read the letters, and I think it was Ashley, and she'll be like, "Dear Ashley, that's me." Dear Ashley. That's how I was like. It's like, "Hey, Amineh."
Okay.
Like, hey, Amineh. Okay. All right.
She was good.
You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amanda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda Bynes. That was before. Oh, look. See, you hear Journey wasn't even crying or nothing. So look, we can see the comments from Facebook here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't, but you can.
You can't see?
I don't know if I'll be able to read them from here.
It's okay. I'll read them.
Thank you.
And then we're on live on YouTube too. And YouTube is where you got all the views. Mm. So, welcome to Hey Amineh. Got a special guest, Mama Ruby. And so you could look in this camera or in that camera over there.
Okay.
Got two options. Okay. But look, okay, so the main reason I wanted to have my mom on here, well, there's a few reasons. One, you have like 200,000 views on all platforms from your hair. 200,000. It's like over 100,000 on YouTube. It's like almost 20,000 on Facebook. It's like 80,000 on TikTok.
Who would have thought it? Who would have believed it?
Not me.
Out of all the ones, I mean, that's never been a career goal of me, is to go viral. But here I am.
And it's on your daughter's channel, so it's like,
I know.
It's really, helping me.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons. And people were like asking a bunch of questions. So I wanted to answer some of the questions that they had.
Okay.
And then I wanted to talk about friendship, because that's like my series that I have going on right now. And you've probably had a lot of friends, a lot of friendship relationships, fallouts, healings, makeup, breakups. So I just wanted to get some elder advice on that.
Good idea. Always good idea to get those elder advice.
Yes. Okay. So do you want to start talking about the hair or the friendships?
Maybe the friendships.
Let's talk about the friendships first, and then we can lighten it up with the lock talk. Okay. So, hey, everyone. Okay. So, I had, it's on my phone, my talking points. So I wanted to talk about how you manage friendships with lifestyle changes. That was like my first question, because I know especially at my age, in your 30s, there's like a lot of major life changes within like your peer groups and stuff, and like everyone's kind of achieving something different, or everyone has like different goals, and you're really starting to focus on your goals. It's not like when you were in your 20s, you can kind of just, go with the flow, wing it. You don't have as many responsibilities, even though you're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
But in your 30s, you start making those like life decisions and life changes, and that can affect your friendships, especially if you're in like two different places.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you maneuver through that?
Wow. Start off with a big one, don't you?
Because that was one of the things I remembered I want to talk about. Because I'm like, I mean, I could relate. Because even in like the last, basically 4 years almost, I like got married, had a new baby. You know, like those are big life changes. Some of my friends have done the same, and then some of my friends are doing like other things. So.
But I thought you was gonna start off with something like what does friendship mean to you?
Well, because I'll get there, but like I think I kind of talked about friendships, but like, can I ask my questions in my order? Please?
Okay. Well, anyway, because friendship,
you gotta warm them up, right? You gotta tell them about something juicy.
So the friendship part of it is a two-way street. So both people have to be wanting to maintain a good relationship. Everybody has the expectations, but like in all relationships, the bottom line is true love, honesty, integrity, accountability. Those are the things that so if you have a friend and they're going through life, they're going to be experiencing those same things, except maybe not at the same level at the same time.
Right, but they're still going to experience them.
But I mean, like for me, it's like I have friends that I don't see them often. We don't talk often, but when we're together, it's like there was no time in between.
Right.
So I think that, true friends, I mean, there's levels too. You know what I mean?
There's levels to friendship.
Yeah. Not every friendship is going to be a deep, heavy, intense friendship, but it can still be a good, solid, support, a good friendship. But I think that, sometimes, we have expectations of people that maybe they don't have of us, that they may not have. And so, and when they don't fulfill those expectations that we have, we're like
offended.
Yeah.
And also, it's like when you start valuing your friendships more and then you start looking at your friendships, you realize that like everyone's not the same type of friend. So it's like you said, some friends you don't need to talk to every day, all the time for it to feel like validated.
Right.
Like some friends, you can see them once every couple of years and it's like, hey, oh my gosh, like how's life? And then you just catch up. Some friends, if you go more than like a couple weeks, you're going to be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I think it's also, because I was talking to Tara about it earlier, it's about like learning how your friends want to have a friendship, like learning what's their love languages, learning how they like feel appreciated, validated. It's like, because you should still know that if you are friends.
Yeah. And I think like you're talking about, as you go through the different periods of your life, those things should still be in effect, so that if there's a real friendship there, no matter what you're going through, they can still be there for you as a friend.
Right.
If you're doing better than them, they're still going to be supportive of you. If you need help, they're going to be there to help you.
Right.
So it's like, and like I said, I mean, some friends I've had for 50 years,
right,
60 years, from my childhood, because that's how our friendship is. Not like, again, it's not something I don't see them often. Some of them I haven't probably seen in over 40 years,
right,
but we talk on the phone, and we do have that deep relationship, so that if we saw each other, like I said, we would be just like kids again.
Right.
Okay.
So what does friendship mean to you? Like, why are friendships important? Hey everyone, we have people.
We're not meant to live alone. Well, we're not. People need people.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think people need people more now than ever before. You know what I mean?
It's wild times.
Yeah, and also, but that's where we came from. We came from, a close-knit villages and close-knit people, family-oriented people, helping each other, being together. And, more and more, we're getting more and more isolated from each other. And I think that, that's why you see a lot of other issues coming out of that loneliness,
People be lonely.
And I think that it's like, social media brings people together, but it also can
tears them apart.
Yeah.
It can tear them apart.
Yeah.
Why is friendship important to you? Answer that question for me in the chat. Write a little comment. Tell me why friendship is important. For me, friendship's important because it's the same thing. It's like companionship. It's like life is beautiful. You don't want to do that alone without like having people to celebrate with. That's why family is important. That's why relationships are important. Having people that love you unconditionally, support you, believe in you. Like, why wouldn't you want that? And it's also like not easy because you do love these people, and so you want it to last, you want it to be forever, all of those things. And it's like sometimes, unfortunately, like life evolves and you guys just can't stay friends, or like something happens and you can't repair that. And that's when I think it's harder to start making more friends, because now you're kind of like scarred, you're scorned. You don't want to do that again.
Yes,
you don't want to go through that hurt again.
Pain. Yes, like, true. But when you start talking about like the first question you were saying about when you're going through different life changes, and it's like I feel that people do change, and so that the person that you were friends with and that you liked at a certain time in their life, that person no longer exists because they've
evolved.
Yes,
and it's like evolved. You shouldn't be right. You like that word better? Because like change could be more negative, but when you evolve, it means like you're growing, you're taking what you've experienced in life and like applying it to you. But like some people can change and it's not necessarily for the better. Like they can change negatively, like they can change something happened in life and they're not happy anymore or whatever. So that's why I say like evolve, because it's usually like two people can grow up and just end up having different views, even though you were friends as children. It's like now you're adult and you have your own independent thoughts, and maybe those thoughts just don't mesh. And that's, I think, also what happens in your 30s, because in your 20s, you have your friends, a lot of them you had like since high school. You in your 20s, like a lot of those friends are from high school. And in your 20s, depending on what's going on in your life, you still are only so mature in your 20s. You know what I mean? So it's like you can still hang on to those friends. Yeah. But then when you hit your 30s, you start really like just looking at life completely different. You start maturing, and then it's like, how did we even become friends? Like what was going on to where like we had stuff in common at one point? Like the 30s are just different. Yes. Do you remember going through that in your 30s?
Yes. Because the 20s, first of all, you have less expectations for your friends.
Right. You just hang out. Let's just hang out.
Okay, we have a good time.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and then, like you said, the 30s, you start, going, wait, well, partying all the time is really not it.
I can't even do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's like, I'm tired.
I'm tired. But do you want to?
It's like you even want to. It's just like in that environment, you're like, and like in your 20s, you can go every weekend and have a blast.
Okay.
In your 30s, you're like, again, you want to go do that again? Whew. Like, I mean, some people do, and it's just like everyone just gets over it at different ages. Yes. Some people just don't get over it. Some people just love that scene.
Exactly.
But like, true. Most people are just like, after a while, you're just like, this is
enough.
And
enough already.
I've had enough partying. But yeah, so that's like just different. That's what people were saying when I was asking about friendship trauma and struggles in friendships. It was like going through changes in life, and they feel that some friends don't want to be there through those changes, or if they're a little selfish and you're going through a lot, they may not even have the capacity to be a good friend during that time, which again, it's like a maturity thing. Some people can
right
Carter, and please.
I think when you talk about friendship, that has a lot to do with it too, because like you said, you're just not that mature at a certain age, that you really can even evaluate, of your friendship.
Right,
Your
right.
expectations are very small, if any.
If any, it's like all, and that's why there's fallouts over like simple things, like because all they expect you to do is show up.
Right.
That's all you gotta do is just show up, meet me, and then it's like if you don't do that, like you're not a good friend. But when you get older, you start realizing things like, can you support me when I'm maybe like not my best mentally, or like, when there's a dramatic change in my family, or can you still be my friend through that? And some people just don't have the capacity because it could be a lot, especially if you're just like not used to it, or oh sorry. Hey Lex. Lexi's on here.
Oh, hi Lexi.
Yeah, look, that's the camera. Oh. These are just the comments.
Oh,
right. These are just.
Hi Lexi. Love you.
You see?
Okay.
There you go. Hey y'all. So something else that people were saying in the comments about friendships is like miscommunication and setting boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my friends, some of my friends, from like not setting boundaries, especially if you're like a people pleaser a little bit. A lot of times if you're a people pleaser a little bit, you just end up becoming friends with a people pleaser taker.
Somebody who likes
who just likes to get pleased. A peace person, like, yes, you're gonna get paired with like someone who just takes, because it's just like that makes it,
because you're willing to give,
right? And then when you decide to start setting boundaries, now the whole friendship dynamic changed. And I remember talking to my friend the other day because she was saying that she felt like the minute, and I had to like also tell this to myself, she felt like the minute she put up boundaries, her friend was like, oh, you're acting different, or you're acting shady. And I told her, I was like, but you were, even though it's the right thing to put up those boundaries, you still changed how you've been acting. So all the time, as your friend, she's taking it as like, why are you acting shady now? Or like, why aren't you giving me everything I want? Which is like, that's not the best way of thinking, but her feelings are still valid because you have always been so giving and like,
so that was her expectation.
So that was her expectation. Yes. And it's like, that is like a sucky reality, because you're like, okay, so now that I'm always not having boundaries with this person and just kind of going with the flow, doing whatever they want, when I finally stand up for what I want, now they feel like I'm not a good friend. But then on the flip side, the person who's always taking advantage of you feels like, well, you've been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened? Changed? Why all of a sudden do you not want to give me what you want? Which her feelings are also valid. Yes. It's like both people's feelings are valid, right? So then it's like you decide whether you're going to work through that, or that's just not the kind of friendship you want. And a lot of times in that specific situation, it's like you can't really come back from that, because they're never going to respect your boundaries.
No.
And they're always going to feel like you're not being the same friend that you once were.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Some things you can rebound with, but even when you rebound with a friendship, it's never going to be the same.
It's never the same, because like the scar is there.
Right.
Regardless of what happened, and even if there was miscommunication, if there was pain, you just can't.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't.
It don't matter how many times you say sorry.
Right.
What you try to do. It's like after that damage is done, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, if you really cross that boundary, because even though we don't necessarily express it, we do have boundaries, and sometimes we don't tell the other person,
but they still exist.
Right. They still exist. And so, if someone crosses that boundary, even though they apologize and they apologize and they apologize, and you can still be friends with them, but it's never going to be the same, especially if it was, a really close one.
Right. Has something like that happened to you before, with like not being vocal about your boundaries and then it affecting your friendship? Or do you remember something like that? How did you process that?
Well, it's hard because if you don't set boundaries, then how much are you going to really say to that other person?
Right.
Right. What are you going to say?
Not that much.
So
it's like you're supposed to read my mind, and I didn't want to do that. You're supposed to just know that I didn't want to do that. Why would I want to do that?
Right. So, but like I said, I mean, with the person that happened with, we're still friends, but it's not like it ever, it's never going to be like it was before. So
right, but there's like no bad blood.
Right.
There's no beef.
No,
but it's just not the same.
Right.
Did y'all like stop talking for a while?
Yes.
And then who reached out?
I think I reached out because that doesn't do any good,
right?
For
just
either
not
person.
Talking and just
yes,
yes,
and just holding it inside.
Yeah,
I don't want to hold anything like that inside of me. I want it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's best to be able to speak to the person, but you got to get it out. You know. So
Tara said hi.
Hi, Tara.
There, Mom. It's just the comments.
Okay.
You don't even need to look here, but I mean, you can see how you look.
Yes, I do.
But you can see it there too.
But I can see better here.
I know, but just talk there.
Okay.
Stacy's just like, Tara said hi. Kalika said hi. She said yes.
Who said hi?
Kalika. She has the candles.
Hi, Kalika.
She said, oh. Wow, yes, it's just never going to be the same. Miscommunication and setting boundaries is a big one. Yeah. I'd never really bounced back from that one. Well, no, that's actually happened. That's a reoccurring thing in my friendships. And it took a while for me to even accept that, like, even though I was finally like setting boundaries and doing what was best for me, that like I still ended up hurting their feelings. Even though I was like, well, I have to set boundaries, or I'm just going to keep getting taken advantage of. It still hurt their feelings because they felt like I wasn't being there, or I wasn't being a good friend. I wasn't doing what I usually do. And it's like, you can't undo that. Like, you can't undo that.
Right.
Like, that they're still going to feel that way.
Right.
You know? So this, like, that just kind of sucks. It's just like, geez, I was just trying to do what's best for me. And it's like, and sometimes what's best for you can hurt someone else. It's sad.
But you still got to do what's best for you.
You still have to do what's best for you, because you can't put someone else's feelings before yours. And then it's just going to be draining, and then you're going to resent them. And it'll just be a vicious cycle. So it's like it had to be done.
Right.
And so Tara said, how do you actually set boundaries in a friendship? Do you literally sit down and have a conversation?
I don't think I necessarily sit down and have a conversation about it, but and just talking with your friends about different things, those kind of boundary things, I think usually come up. You know what I mean? And so you pretty quickly can see where someone is at in terms of, are they in line with what you would do or how you would act, or
Yeah, so it's like being friends with someone who has similar views, similar respect, similar ethics is important, because then it's like the boundaries are almost like, you understand, right? Because this is like, if I want to do it to you, then I don't expect you to do it to me, kind of thing. But if you have friends that are from like really different walks of life, or like different environments, it may not be as easy to like see those outlines, or one person may be clear on what their boundaries are, and one person may not even know what boundaries are. So like, if that's the case, how do you think you set boundaries in a friendship? Are you just like, if something happens, you're just like, hey, like, for me, that was like crossing my boundaries. That's not the kind of friend I am, or whatever. Like,
I think,
would you have that kind of conversation with someone?
Yeah. If I definitely, if they definitely did something that I felt like was out of line, I would have that conversation about, who this person is. But the other thing we got to be careful about, because no one's perfect, okay?
Right.
And we can like many things about a person, and still this one thing about them that we're not good with. You know what I mean?
And that's okay.
But also, I think that, if we're really a friend, I mean, honesty is the hardest thing. If you really love someone and you care about them, sometimes being honest with them is a very difficult thing, because being
because it
honest is
could
going
be
to hurt.
right?
Yes.
Because it can hurt them.
Yeah. But all that's about, all that is a part of, setting those boundaries. You know what I mean? Like I said, you just most of the time you kind of attract people that are similar anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you get down to those, those so certain things, like for me, it's like when I'm out with someone, even though they may curse, I don't want them cursing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When I'm out with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might alone or somewhere else, but outside, no, that's not the person that I'm going to be hanging with, or going out with, or being friends with. So there's certain things, but at the same time, that's something that you can
tell them.
Yes, and also, but that's something that can be fixed.
Right.
Hey. Some people have, those, like you were talking about, the takers. I think that's a lot harder too, because those people obviously are used to
just kind of getting their way.
Yes. Sort of. Yes. Yeah.
Let's see if that answered her question. Did that answer your question? Let us know. Look, you see how it looks like we're in the woods? You see that behind us? It looks like we're in the woods. That's nice. I know, isn't that cool? I got it set up. I know, we got to set up like a rural production studio. Okay, yeah, Tara said thank you. Okay. Okay, good. What other questions do we have about friendships? Okay, so how do you heal from like friendship traumas that you've experienced? Because because I was talking to some women and they were saying that like with some friendship traumas, like you can kind of revisit, talk about it, but like you were saying, it's like never the same, but at least you can like heal by talking about it and like try to move forward. But sometimes you don't get that closure, right? Like sometimes you don't get that, final conversation or explanation even. So you have to forgive yourself, you have to forgive them on your own. So like, yeah, how do you heal from those things that happened and then have it not cause you to be like turned off from friends forever? Because it can happen like that, like in relationships. If you had a bad relationship, it's hard for you to get into a new relationship. Yeah, because I mean, when you talk about relationships, basically the foundations are all the same, aren't they? Right, the foundation is the same. Yeah, and so and that saying, time heals all. I mean, it's corny, but it's true. I mean, it takes time. It takes time for you to just physically, because you're used to being around that person. So your body, is like, where are they? So I think people expect it to be, something quick. So, it depends on the depth of the relationship, first of all. But usually, it still takes a while. And especially, like you said, if you don't get closure, if you're not able to talk to that person. If you don't know what happened. Right, you don't know what did it. You don't want to bring that into another friendship because then you're like, well, geez, how can I have been a better friend? But at the same time, you have to move on. Yes. You have to move on. I mean, it's just like any other loss. Well, yeah. It's, you got to go through that process. And, and it is a process usually, especially if it's something that's, really negative, you got to go through that anger part. You got to go through that denial, and then you finally get to that point of acceptance, that this is what happened. And the other thing I would always find interesting is because I always think of friendship is like a gift, and like with all gifts, sometimes, you're grateful for the gift. The gift is beautiful. It could be expensive, but you have to take it back. So friendship, you have to take it back. Sometimes you just can't keep it. It's just not you. It's just not you. It's just not for you. You know what I mean? And so, and sometimes we have to accept that too. That
we maybe want to be friends with someone.
But maybe it's just not meant to be. Yeah. That makes me sad because I'd be like, but why? Why can't we be though? She said, time heals all. And then someone else said, yes, no closure makes it harder for the wound to heal for me. For me too. Especially if I feel like I really don't know what happened. Right. Or, it was kind of just like a cutoff thing. Like, you're just like, what happened? Like, but I don't know. A lot of times I haven't had a friendship end where I didn't know what happened. It's like I know what happened, but maybe I didn't like understand why it happened or like agreed for it to like happen that way or something like that. But I think I've always kind of known like either what the pivot point was of the friendship like shifting or like the reason it ended. But I'm always like the reach out friend. Like I'm always gonna reach out like after to try to mend it, even though I know it's not gonna go back to being the same. But you still want to mend it. I still just don't like to just like not just like have that anger with people. Like I just don't like to walk around with that. It's like especially for someone who I once loved. Because obviously I loved you, you're my friend. Right. So
well, just being the fact that you're usually the one that is the
people pleaser. I know, jeez.
So you have to be the bigger person, and you have to be the one to call, right?
I have to. I just have one more question. I just have just one more thing. Could you just tell me? Yeah, I am always that person. I can't help it. You're that person.
It's true.
Exactly. I got it from you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that to you.
That it's funny though because LG is not like that. Dad's not like that either. But I think it's just a man thing. Because they also don't really be having friendship fallout. I know, right? Especially, and if it's a fallout, they're not about to be cool again. Like it's over. Like for guys, they just be like, look, it's done. End. The end.
Yeah, they don't have as many issues as we have.
No, we're more complex. They're so simple. Don't you think? I think they're just so much like logical and like just simple. Like women is so much emotion wrapped up amongst like friend stuff. It's like very emotional. Like
we're the moon, so
it's just emotions, just a ball of emotions.
Yes. With the
she said, I noticed mothers. That too. Guys don't be falling out at all. They don't.
We're the mothers. So we carry a lot of that,
emotion. We carry enough for everybody.
Okay.
Because they don't be having none. Like some guys are emotional, but he said, yeah, my husband always tells me women get to be emotional, men have to be logical. Yeah, I mean, we all can't be emotional.
Yeah, and they certainly all can be logical. Right. That's for sure.
Okay, so let's switch gears because we have about 20 minutes left or so. Do you have anything else you want to add about friendships?
I think that, well, we already talked about that. We definitely all need them.
Yes.
And
it's a valuable thing.
It's a valuable thing. And also, like I said, not going to be perfect. Friends are not going to be perfect.
Oh, that's what I wanted to go back to because I was like, I feel like sometimes with friends we expect for perfection. And it's just not fair because then there's going to be something. Like, they can't live up to that. They like no one is perfect. Yes. And I just feel like with the way friendships go, sometimes we don't give as much grace. Or we're willing to end it, throw it away because of something minor. Yes. Instead of like, because it does involve you having to like kind of swallow your pride and be like, I like being your friend. What was this about? instead of doing that, it's just like, oh, I'm cool. I don't have to talk to her ever again. Never.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting perfection. Because it's like, was that messed up or shady? Yes. Do you have to throw the whole friendship away? It's like, not necessarily. Like, I think sometimes, not all the time.
I think you millennials have it bad anyway.
It's because
you can't handle conflict.
We can't handle conflict. We don't like anything that's not perfect.
Listen, we're gonna fight. Forget about it. It's over. It's done. We're finished.
Like, we don't even have to fight. Let's just call it quits right now. It's fine. I mean, I guess.
I think you're a little quick to,
throw in the towel.
Yes. It's like, what?
I don't know why.
Over because y'all haven't learned about conflict resolution. You're spared fighting. No, don't fight. We fought. You know what I'm saying? But y'all have a psychology therapist and all that stuff, so you have to fight. But I think I definitely see a trend though in the millennials because
why it's and I think from my psychological view, social media has a way of putting out perfect images, and only showing parts of things. So we all know if it's 100%, it could be 90% perfect. Social media has a way of filtering out that 10%. So you don't even see the imperfections in things like relationships, friendships, life, whatever. If you see someone rich, you never see when they may not have no money. You just always see them rich. If you see a married couple, you don't see when they argue. You only see them when they're happy. Same with friends. So then I think in real life, people expect that. And it's never going to be that because that's not real life. It's like, it's structured real life. It's like media real life. Propaganda. It's like we're putting out what you want to see. You don't see everything. You only see what's pushed. So if they're not pushing imperfection, then when someone experiences imperfection in real life, they don't even think that that's how it's supposed to be. They're like, what? Well, I don't see this on the internet. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Yeah. What do you mean we're not perfect? What do you mean we're disagreeing about whatever? So then it's like, moving on, unfollow, block, don't have to access it anymore. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to deal with it. So I really think that social media had like a big part in what our expectations are. I even hear it with Jay, like just the way he views things. I'm just like, it can't. You can't just save $20,000. I mean, you can, but like, it's not. You just it doesn't just drop out, right? It doesn't just like pop up.
But that's what it looks like from his point
of view. If you just scrolling, you see, it's like that's all you see. You're just like, all they did was save money, and they say all I did was save,
right?
And it's like, oh, okay, that's all I gotta do, like,
right.
If you can forgive a guy over and over and move past things with your significant other, you should be able to do with your real friends. I agree. And then someone said, I think loyalty is in question in this generation. Tara said, I just love Mama Ruby. LOL. And then Kalika said, I agree. We do need to work on conflict resolution.
I love her too.
She said she loves you too. She said we need to work on conflict resolution.
Absolutely.
Because we don't.
No.
As soon as something goes on. But also it's like that, like unfollow, unfriend, block, that. It's like you almost can't do that in real life. You could do it because you can't stop someone from walking to the same grocery store as you if you live in the same neighborhood. But you can stop them from ever seeing your post or whatever again on the internet. And it's like the internet is a separate place than real life. And I think the millennials like to merge it and try to make social media seem like this is real life expectations of what. Because it's like we had TV and it's like you kind of know there's some fiction behind it.
Right.
But with social media, when you see people posting and it's like
they're real people.
They're right. They are real people. So you think that this life is like real.
And I think that has like trickled down, like through our society, this through education, through different institutions, how, certain things that were of value now are you can achieve certain things with less value. You know what I'm saying? Like, or when we went to college, there was no like you had to make the grade. There was no second chances. There was no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that a lot of leeway has happened in our society in a lot of ways, and so that it makes people, especially like your generation, growing up seeing these propaganda, basically,
right,
that it really implants that people have to be perfect.
And if we're not perfect, then we can mold things to be closer to perfect. That's what social media does.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you're not perfect. It's okay. We'll just move the goalpost a little closer to you.
Okay.
So that you can feel perfect.
Okay. Let's give everybody an award.
Oh my gosh, I know. You know what? We're not going to just acknowledge one person because then everybody else is going to be left out, even if they're intelligent or not. So we're just going to give everybody.
Yeah, we don't want nobody to be left out.
No. She said, everybody is ready to quit. If you value people in your life, it's not easy to keep things going. You have to work through things, communicate, and give real time for things to heal. When I get in conflicts with my friends or family, I charge it to my mind and not my heart. My love for them is never going to change. It's just how I deal with them and how I recognize my boundaries with them. Yes.
Yes. And I think that if we love them, we truly love them, we have to try.
Yeah.
We have to accept that, none of us are perfect, and that, our boundaries may be different, our likes, dislikes, the way we perceive life may be, different in some ways. But obviously, if you're friends, you got something in common.
Something in common. There has to be something
that brought you together in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. And, and if you really care about them, it's worth at least trying.
I agree.
And I think that, it's easy to give up.
Yes, it's always easier to give up. Do you think, okay, this is my last friend question. How many, okay, do you have as many friends in wait, how do you? It's like now in life versus when you were in your 30s. Friend group, more. You had more friends when you were 30. So what happened with those friends?
We just kind of, some moved away, distance. I think most like some of those were still like from high school. So,
in your 30s, it's just like you just.
But like you were talking about how people, they change, they get their own careers, they in their 30s, they're, focusing on their family.
Right.
They're not, any longer focusing on going out and, or just, 20s, that's the biggest time for your freedom. Right? You have, most of the time you have some responsibility, but you don't have nearly as much. Usually it's just, if you don't have a child, it's just you.
Right. See, I don't know. I had a baby.
Yes.
So I didn't have like
that freedom.
Not quite, but close enough.
Yes.
Because I only had one.
But I think that again, when you're young, at least for me anyway, more friends when you're younger, because again, you have less expectations.
Right.
Your focus is not,
And even though I had a child in my 20s, my life expectancy wasn't the same. Like I didn't expect the same out of life. Like even though I had a child, my focus was like, okay, of course I have to take care of him, but it wasn't like I want to get married. I want to have like a family and like be stable and take the steps in buying a house, secure my credit. Like I wasn't thinking about those things, even though I had a child.
Right.
You're still just like,
life, like, life. Hey, you're having a grand time.
Look, life is great. Okay. But okay. So we have to move on to your hair now because I'm trying to get this hour.
Okay.
We've been running our mouths for 50 minutes.
Okay.
Hair.
How
long have you been growing your hair?
How long have I grown my hair?
We were talking about this and I don't remember like
You said it was two.
I think it would. I think it's like 25 years.
25 years.
I would
that
be
would
9.
be.
I would have been 9.
And that would have been.
Like 99.
Okay. 99. That sounds about right.
Because I remember.
You were like 9?
I mean, like, I was old enough to, like, get you stuff from the kitchen. And, like, I just remember, like, being there vividly. So that's why I feel like I was around 8 or 9.
Okay. I'd say 2099.
I don't feel like it was the 2000s.
You don't think so?
I mean.
So that'd be like 24 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like 25 years. That's just pick that number.
Okay.
25. when people ask you how long have you been going here, I just put 25 plus because like I know it's at least 99. Like you started him at least 99 because I know I was at least like 9. Okay. I may have been like slightly younger, but I remember we got to find a picture.
Yeah, we do. I think we can find a picture.
We got to find a picture of when you first started them.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the date. It probably has a little date, you know, like on some of the developed cameras.
Right.
It has the date on the bottom.
Right.
And we can see when you actually started them. Because your hair was like this long when you started it.
Right.
Like it was
because I didn't start, you know, like some people start with their hair shaved and, you know, but I started with my hair braided.
Right. Me too.
So.
We started them the same way.
Yeah. So I already had some length, but not a lot. But I had.
Yeah, mine were like this long.
I remember yours.
Yeah, babies. I've been growing mine. This is 14 years now.
Wow.
14 years. So I'm only 10 years behind you.
Oh.
So they're definitely going to be longer than yours. Because I started mine younger than you did.
Right, right. But mine was pretty long.
I mean, Mom, in 10 years, I'm going to have them for 25 years. Well, in 11 years.
Yeah.
So, was your hair like this after 14 years?
Probably.
Oh. So, yeah, I'm going to beat you.
You're going to beat me.
Yeah. But I can't have them that long.
Really?
It's heavy.
But it's hard to cut them.
Yeah, people want to know why, why. Someone was like, I don't want anyone to get offended, but why did she grow them that long?
Why? Mm-hmm. Because they're part of me. That's how I felt. Like it's a part of me. Mm-hmm. And just like, you know, all my other body parts. And so, but also for me, it was like they're like my antennas. They're like my sensory. And so, and I just feel like, you know, it's such a blessing to be able to have my hair to just grow like that. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes me proud to be, you know, a Black woman, and it just gives me joy. Mm-hmm. So, and and I just want everybody to know we can have long hair too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we can have long hair.
Shoot. Okay, yeah. Let me see. What else were they asking? Oh, they said, why don't you wash it on your own?
I know it was looking pretty dirty.
That's what they said. They were like, "Oh no, why is the water so dirty? Yeah. Did she not wash it in the shower?" They were asking.
No, I can't wash it in the shower.
They were asking a lot of questions about like, why was it so dirty?
Well, part of it was dye.
Yes. So you do dye your hair.
Yes.
To what? Why do you dye your hair?
Just to cover the gray.
Cover the gray. Make it look clean.
Make it look nice.
Right.
Because, you know, when you have dreadlocks, even though they're clean, they may not look clean because, right. You know, they do attach lint or anything that rubs up against them. And I can't wash my hair in the shower because it's too long. I have to do it separately from bathing. Mm-hmm. And it's not an easy process, you know.
Right.
I mean, I have a salon at my home with a shampoo bowl.
The shampoo, Carter. Stop.
But a lot of that I think was dye.
Yeah, a lot of it was dye. And also, like, I don't think people understand with locks, like, if you're wearing something like this,
right,
like, it's going to get on your hair. It's almost like a lint roller.
Yes.
You know, so when you try to wash it, even if you wash it, that doesn't necessarily come out. Like, the dirt comes out, but like lint doesn't come out.
Right.
So what you got was like the purge, and she put like some baking soda in it. So it really bubbled out. So a lot of the dye
from all that stuff.
Yeah, from all that stuff came out. So it made it look really dark. But yeah, people were like, oh my gosh. And then some people were like, is it heavy?
I think because of the rate that it grows, you kind of grow with it, so it doesn't really feel heavy. I mean, if I think about it, maybe, but
yeah,
I don't really, except when it's wet, of course, and it's heavy.
It's heavy.
But
and then they were talking. So 90% of the comments were like nice, like, oh my god, her hair is so beautiful. And then some people were like, she needs to cut it off. They're like, it needs to go.
It needs to go.
It needs to go.
Why? Why does it need to go? Where's it going? Cut it off. Because why? It's just too long.
It's too long.
They don't like it because it's too long.
Right.
It just does something to them. It's my hair.
They said that your hair is thinning because it's so long.
Wait. They said my hair is thinning?
Yeah.
On the sides?
Yeah. But I don't think they know how old you are. Do you want to tell them how old you are?
Sure, I don't mind.
Carter, chill out. Go home. Go home. It's time to wrap it up.
I'll be 70 in April.
So at 70 years old, if you didn't have locks, what do you think your hair would be doing right now?
Probably thinning. It certainly would be changing.
That's what I told them. I'm just like, well, she's not 30.
Yeah.
Hair does thin over time, whether you have locks on it or not. But I feel like to be that age and to have hair that long, like some people don't have any.
Right.
70.
Right. So yeah, that's why I say, that's why, I feel blessed that, I can have hair like this. And it's also, it feels very spiritual to me, and so to cut it off, well, you said it right. It's like it does something to your soul.
It does something to your soul. It's like you feel it.
Yes.
It's like you feel it, even though it's not like your skin or anything. It's alive. Because even when she's like trimming, I was like, it just does something. It just like, I don't know.
It does.
Someone said in the comments, they were like, she's getting a trim, proceeds to cut off more hair than I have on my entire head. And then some people were like, that is not a trim. I was like, okay. Some people were like, oh my god, I do not like locks.
Oh,
they were commenting. That's what I said. Sad. I was like, they were like, she said, I'm sorry, I do not like locks. I was like, I'm sorry too.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I'm sorry you don't like them.
What?
Really? No, she was black.
No.
Yes. I was like, oh, what happened? I don't know. Our Facebook stopped. Oh, I wonder if my phone died.
What?
Production. Technical difficulties. Oh, that's what I said. Okay.
Well, the end.
YouTube's still on. Okay, Mom, do a sign off.
What's that mean?
Mama Ruby out, or thank you for coming to Hey Amineh. You love your beautiful daughter so much. Something along those lines. Something along those lines,
Thank you so much for coming to Hey Amineh, and I thank my beautiful daughter for inviting me, and bless you, Mama Ruby.
Yes, that was beautiful. See? Woo! Theme music.
You have theme music too?
No, I need some. No.
Yeah, you do need some.
Yeah, we're good. I know,
You
babe.
Everybody got
Oh,
theme
you know
music.
what? It should be from Vicious Virgo. I should just use like Mean Girls. Like dun, 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 dun. I'll play it.
Like what?